also very, very excited about the Seattle Kraken. And I'll be honest, I'm not very excited about the Seattle Kraken.
I was going to say, I was like, that seems like a lie.
I'm going to start with an admission. I've lied. But there's exciting things. They had cup winners at kind of all the important positions. Head coach, center, defense. And my biggest question with this team is like, where are the goals going to come from?
Yeah,
but
that's been the question with them.
Yeah, I don't hate any of the ads. I like Bylsma. Happy for him.
I hate the price. Like Montour and Stephenson were massive overpays, but they identified the players that they wanted, and like to their credit, they seem to identify a style in which they want to play. Like Stephenson and Montour are good at pushing the puck up the ice with speed. So like they may be placing an emphasis on playing really fast.
But you know what Stephenson isn't good at?
Staying healthy.
Like scoring goals.
Yeah.
And he's a very good middle six forward, but he's not going to answer that question of where the goal is going to come from. And one of the places could be Matty Beniers, who took a step back in his second season. Like,
a little quiet, yeah.
Kind of big time. 57 points as a rookie, 37 points in his second year. And then he signed 7 times $7.14 million. And that is a risk I would take if I were the Kraken. But you hate to say to a guy entering his third year, like, you need to pick it up. But like, he needs to step it up for this team to arrive in the way that it wants to.
100%, but it's also like it's a little unfair. He came into the NHL and they were like 1C.
Face of the franchise, everything you have to, but like just the way the roster is constructed, again, I ask, where are the goals going to come from?
And like we both like building teams down the middle, and when you're relying on a second-year player to be like basically the engine that makes your team go, you're in a weird spot, especially like Shane Wright has taken a while to develop and arrive to the NHL. They were hoping to build as like their top two centers in Matty Beniers and Shane Wright. Shane Wright, I think this is a big year for finding out who he is, what he can do for that team. I'm not going to like expect a ton, but if he is really good and takes a step forward, they're in a much better position.
Would love for him to be a good third line center. But the problem with that, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just not crazy enough about their wings that if he's a third line center, and with as big prospect as he is, he should be the driver. But like he'll just have to really be the driver, and he's gonna have to be the guy on whatever line he's on most likely, because he's not gonna be on the first line, he's not gonna be on the second line.
He could be on the second line. Like if he starts playing well,
kick him to wing, or just like ahead of Stephenson, because Stephenson I think is a fine third line guy.
They have like, but that's the problem, is that they have this abundance of maybe third line centers. You've got Stephenson, you got Yanni Gourde, you got Shane Wright. Like one of those guys has to play above what we expect from them to really kind of solidify this lineup.
You know how many 20-goal scorers the Kraken had last season? This is disgusting.
0?
2?
Sean is correct.
Guessing McCann and Bjorkstrand.
Who was that?
McCann and Bjorkstrand.
Yes.
My biggest
Who was
question.
the first one?
Jared McCann.
Okay.
My biggest question about this team this year is
Bjorkstrand's good though.
Is anyone going to save Oliver Bjorkstrand from going to the All-Star game? Or is he going to be forced to go again?
Famously, he could have been an All-Star and did not want to be.
Well,
right?
he
booked an
was an
Airbnb.
All-Star.
Oh, right.
He had to cancel his trip. He was supposed to go on vacation.
Go.
They called him in. They were like, "You're gonna have to cancel that trip," and he was like, "Oh, cool, thanks."
Airbnb needs to just be consistent across the board with how their deposit situation works, because it seems that each one is different. Where it'd be like, you want to pay, hey, give us $300 now, the rest when you check in, and sometimes it's refundable, sometimes it's not refundable, and it seems like it's on a case-to-case basis. So Oliver Bjorkstrand, while that was not a complaint you had about Airbnb, I stand with you.
Hey, thanks for watching the channel.
We appreciate everybody who checks out our stuff, but 80% of our viewers are not actually subscribed to this page, so if you could smash that subscribe button, it would go a very long way for us.
The more subscriptions we have, the more visibility we get from YouTube, which allows us to do more.
So press that button. Thank you.
Yeah, the Kraken are like almost an impossible team to project based off of like how many things are up in the air. Because like we haven't seen Dan Bylsma coach in the
a minute.
NHL in a long time. Was really good in the AHL with the Coachella Valley Firebirds.
I think that's right. Yeah.
And like
Bringing a very esteemed staff with him.
yeah, right. And like
A lot of staff talk.
in like it's a promotion within the
Yep.
organization, so like that could work out. Like it could be comfortable for him. I definitely think they needed a system shift and a culture shift. Like they were trending in the wrong direction based off of like a really what I would consider a successful and impressive first season. But like they just have so much up in the air.
Yeah, and I know that Marchessault was very excited to go to the Predators, but I feel like they just kind of spent the money wrong in free agency. And love Brandon Montour. He wouldn't have been the ad if I were like I would have spent it on
back
wing.
end. I just in like
But their defense was already okay, and now like their defense right now has a lot of like, yeah, I like that guy.
they play good team defense for the most part. It's just they don't score. And then like I think Montour will help them both on the power play and in
play a million
generating
minutes.
Yeah, and it gives them a weapon at the top of the zone. Will help like just diversify their offense a little bit. So like I don't mind that ad. It comes down to the price point that I really didn't like. They overpaid like crazy for both those guys. But like I think that this could be a very respectable team. But like at the end of the day, what you really want to see if you're a Kraken fan is Beniers get back on the horse, Shane Wright take a big step forward, and then like have good early returns on the guys that you brought in to be the big tickets.
Yeah, and then you're in business. Probably not this year, but then you have something going. You have a strong base in addition to some very nice jerseys. I've been waiting all episode, Sean, if you want to swap out.
We all silly like the mayor.